For thousands of years, the Galactic Senate kept one strange detail locked inside its deepest records. A missing world. A blank space on every star map. A planet that should have been there, but wasn't. That world was called Earth. Old stories said humans once lived there, but no one knew what happened to them. Some believed Earth was destroyed. Some said humans left on great ships and vanished. Others whispered that Earth hid itself for a reason. But the Senate treated Earth like a forgotten myth, until the impossible happened. It began with a signal. A weak, broken message that came from the far edge of known space. It lasted only 3 seconds, filled with static, fear, and an old human voice saying, "Earth is not lost." Then silence. The signal shocked every member of the Galactic Senate. If Earth was not lost, then where was it? Why had it stayed hidden? And why appear now? To find the answer, the Senate chose a search fleet, 12 ships, the most advanced scanners in the galaxy, and a commander known for never failing a mission. His name was Commander Raleth. Raleth had traveled to many strange regions of space, but when he studied the old star maps and saw the hollow space where Earth should be, a strange feeling touched him. Not fear. Something deeper. Something like warning. Still, his orders were clear. Find the source of the signal. Find Earth. The fleet entered the uncharted zone with full power. At first, everything looked normal. Empty space, drifting dust, cold silence. But then the scanners started acting strange. The stars ahead flickered. Gravity fields twisted like ripples in water. One ship reported seeing a shadow moving across space, even though nothing was there. Another ship claimed its cameras caught the outline of a giant structure for a single second. Commander Raleth tried to calm his crew, but even he felt something pressing on his mind, a quiet presence, like they were being watched. Hours passed. Then one navigator shouted, "Sir, a planet is appearing on the display." Raleth turned to the screens. At first, there was nothing. Just blackness. Then the shape of a world began to appear. Slowly, like a curtain lifting. Mountains. Oceans. Clouds swirling across blue and green surfaces. The scanners went wild. "It's not moving," a tech officer said with shaking hands. "It's just appearing." Raleth stared, unable to believe his eyes. A planet had materialized out of nowhere. But it wasn't random. It was rising into visibility right where Earth should have been. "Is that?" He could barely finish. A quiet voice from his science officer answered, "Yes, Commander. That is Earth." The bridge fell silent. Not because they found the world, but because of something even stranger. Earth didn't seem surprised to see them. It did not look abandoned. It did not look weak. It looked awake. As the fleet moved closer, strange energy waves came from the planet, unlike anything the Senate had recorded in thousands of years. One officer whispered, "This world is not hiding by accident." The words chilled Raleth. "What do you mean?" "It's shaping the space around itself. Something is controlling physics here." Raleth looked again at the planet, thinking about the old signal. Earth is not lost. Something inside him understood the real message. Earth chose to disappear. Earth chose to hide. Earth chose to return now. Before he could think further, alarm screamed across the fleet. A giant object was rising from Earth's surface. A silent mass. Cold metal. Dark armor. Moving straight toward them. The fleet formed defensive lines, unsure what was coming. Was it a ship? A weapon? A warning? Raleth stared at the rising shape. It was not like any ship in the galaxy. It had no engines, no wings, no lights. It drifted upward like it was carried by the planet itself. Then the stars around it bent. Space shook. The object entered open space and turned toward the fleet. The crew froze. Every scanner, every sensor, every piece of technology went blind. The object hid everything around it, even the stars behind. Raleth felt his heartbeat slow. "This thing, it's not built for travel," he whispered. "It's built for control." The dark object stopped just a few kilometers from the fleet. A single light appeared on its front. Small, white, calm. Then a voice came through every ship at the same time. Not loud. Not angry. Just simple. Clear. Human. You have entered restricted space. Every officer froze. No one dared breathe. Identify yourselves, the human voice continued. Your presence has been detected. Your actions are observed. Turn back. Raleth tried to speak, but his voice trembled. What are you? The voice answered with terrifying calm. We are Earth. And with that, the object powered up, its surface glowing with a light no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. The fleet had found Earth. But Earth was not what they expected. Earth was waiting. Earth was watching. And Earth was ready. The dark object floating in front of the Senate fleet did not behave like a normal ship. It made no sound, showed no movement, and gave no clear energy reading. But everyone on the bridge felt the same thing. It was watching them. Commander Raleth Varys stood frozen at the front window of his flagship. His eyes stayed locked on the giant structure. He whispered to himself, "This is not possible." Across the fleet, officers tried to scan the object, but their devices only returned static. Nothing could read its mass. Nothing could detect its engine. Nothing could explain how it rose from the planet without any visible thrust. One officer said quietly, "Sir, it is not a ship." Raleth turned. "Then what is it?" The officer swallowed hard. "It looks like a weapon. A platform. A guardian." Before Raleth could answer, the same calm human voice came again, echoing through every speaker in every ship. "Identify yourselves. State your purpose." Raleth forced himself to speak. "This is Commander Raleth Varys of the Galactic Senate. We received a signal from this region. We are here to investigate." A short pause followed. The entire fleet waited in silence. Then the human voice responded. "Earth does not send signals." Raleth felt cold sweat slide down his neck. "Then who sent it?" he asked. The human voice grew even calmer. "A warning that was not meant for you." "A warning?" The fleet officers exchanged worried looks. Every ship captain, every crew member, could feel the tension in the air tighten like a rope. Raleth tried again. "We believed Earth was lost. We only wish for peaceful contact." The voice changed, just slightly. Not angry, just firmer. "Peace is not your choice in this region. Turn back." One of Raleth's captains shouted through the fleet channel. "We cannot retreat without information. This world disappeared from the galaxy. We must know why." A flash of white light glowed across the dark object's surface. Smooth, quiet, controlled. The human voice replied, "You are standing inside a protected zone. You were not invited. You were not cleared. You are not ready." Raleth clenched his jaw. "Ready for what?" The answer came immediately. "For the truth." The fleet fell silent again. Then, before anyone could react, the massive dark object released a pulse of energy. It was not an attack. It was something far more frightening. Every ship in the Senate fleet went dark. Engines silent. Weapons dead. Shields gone. Lights off. 12 powerful ships turned off in 1 second. The crews panicked. Officers shouted. Technicians ran to control stations. Nothing responded. Raleth's ship floated like a dead stone. He slammed his hand on the console. "Restart the system." "It's not working, sir," his engineer yelled back. "All systems are unresponsive." A soft hum passed through the flagship. A strange field, like a hand touching the hull. Raleth looked out and saw the dark object slowly drifting around the fleet, studying them, scanning them, judging them. Every second felt heavier. Finally, power returned. Lights flickered. Screens lit up. Engines came online. The dark object stopped moving. The human voice returned, still calm, still terrifying in its simplicity. "This was a warning. You are alive only because we allow it." No one spoke. The voice continued. "Do not come closer. Do not attempt landing. Earth is not open to the galaxy." Raleth breathed deeply. He knew he must ask the question that everyone feared. If Earth is alive and powerful, why did it vanish from the stars? The voice went quiet. Then, slowly, it answered. "Because the galaxy was not safe for us." Everyone stared at the speakers. The tone of the human voice was unchanged, but there was something hidden beneath it. Something older. Something dangerous. R'Elan swallowed and asked, "And now? Why reveal yourselves now?" The human voice replied, "We did not reveal ourselves. You came too close." The fleet fell silent again. R'Elan suddenly noticed something. Something small but terrifying. While the voice spoke, the dark object was not acting alone. Earth itself was changing. Cloud patterns moved unnaturally. Energy rings formed around the planet. Hidden structures rose from the oceans and mountains. Earth was preparing something. R'Elan whispered, "This world, it's waking up." A young navigator pointed at the screens with trembling hands. "Commander, something else is rising from the planet's surface." R'Elan looked. Another object, smaller, faster, shot upward from the surface. It did not hide its power. It burned bright with strange energy. It moved toward the fleet like a hunter approaching prey. R'Elan's heart pounded. "What is that one?" he asked softly. This time, the voice sounded different. Lower, darker, older. A human ship. One built before the stars turned cold. R'Elan felt his chest tighten. A ship built before the stars turned cold? How old were these humans? What had Earth been doing all this time? What else was hidden down there? The human voice spoke one final time. "Leave this region. Do not return. Earth is not lost, but you will be if you stay." The dark object and the rising ship both turned toward Earth like guardians returning to their throne. Commander R'Elan understood the message clearly. Earth was powerful. Earth was awake. And Earth did not want visitors. The fleet had a choice: leave or be erased. Commander R'Elan Varys had seen many strange events in his life, but nothing compared to what Earth had shown him. The Dark Guardian object. The human voice controlling the entire fleet. The second ship rising from the planet like a silent predator. Earth was not a dead world. Earth was not weak. Earth was not forgotten. It was something far greater and far more dangerous. But the Senate fleet did not leave. Fear pushed them to retreat, but curiosity kept them frozen in place. Every officer, every scientist, every mind on those 12 ships wanted the same thing. What was Earth hiding? R'Elan felt that same pull, stronger than the fear in his chest. He stood on the bridge window, watching Earth from a distance. The clouds moved in strange patterns. Lights flickered on the surface, not from cities, but from something buried under the crust. R'Elan whispered, "There is something under that planet. Something old." His science officer nodded slowly. "Sir, those energy readings we detected? They're growing stronger." "Explain." The officer lifted a digital pad with shaking hands. "Those signals match nothing in our database. Not modern tech. Not ancient tech. Not even alien relics." R'Elan frowned. "Then what is it?" The officer hesitated before answering. "Sir, the energy signature is older than the galaxy itself." The bridge went silent. Older than the galaxy? What sort of power could survive that long? Suddenly, alarms flashed red across the screens. "Commander!" the navigator shouted. "We're losing signal contact with the forward drones." R'Elan turned sharply. "How many?" "All of them, sir." 12 advanced Senate drones had been sent to scan Earth's orbit. Every one of them vanished at the same time. No explosion. No alert. Just gone. "Did Earth shoot them down?" R'Elan asked. The navigator shook his head slowly. "No, sir. It doesn't look like an attack. They disappeared." The bridge filled with nervous whispers. Ships did not disappear. Tech did not vanish. Machines did not simply stop existing. Something was rewriting the space around Earth. R'Elan tightened his jaw. "Send spy satellites." Stealth mode. Full cloaking. The satellites launched. 30 seconds later, they were gone. Every camera feed cut to black. Every sensor went silent. R'Elan's frustration turned into something far colder. Fear. "Earth is blocking everything we send," he said quietly. His science officer responded, "Not blocking, sir. Consuming." R'Elan turned. Consuming. The officer nodded. Something around Earth is pulling our machines out of reality. Like a trap. R'Elan understood something terrible then. Earth wasn't just hiding itself. It was protecting something buried deep inside it. Something the galaxy had forgotten. Something humans did not want anyone to find. He stared again at the planet. It looked peaceful from a distance. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds. But under that surface, something stirred. As he watched, faint lights flickered under Earth's crust. At first they looked like simple patterns, but then he realized something. They were not random. They were symbols, shapes, words in a language no one had spoken for thousands of years. A forgotten language. A human language. The symbols changed again and again, glowing brighter each time. Every shift sent waves of energy through space. One ship officer stepped back in fear. "Commander, it feels like the planet is trying to talk." R'Elan shook his head. "No, not talk. Warn." Suddenly, the bridge lights flickered. A shadow crossed the flagship even though nothing was near it. R'Elan felt a pressure in his mind. Something watching him. Something old and powerful. A whisper formed in the air, not through speakers, not through any device. Inside his head. "You are not ready." R'Elan froze. He looked around. Some officers clutched their heads. Others stared into the distance with wide eyes. They heard it too. The whisper continued. "Turn back. Do not search further." The pressure vanished just as fast as it came. R'Elan steadied his breath. This was no normal warning. This was telepathy, or something even stronger. He turned to his science officer. "Did Earth just speak inside our minds?" The officer looked terrified. "Commander, whatever that was, it came from beneath the planet's surface." R'Elan exhaled slowly. "What is hiding down there?" Before anyone could answer, the ship's long-range scanners picked up a massive surge of energy from Earth's core. The screen filled with readings that made no sense. Impossible power levels. Unknown radiation. Spatial distortions. "Sir," the science officer whispered, "I think Earth is waking up something. Or someone." R'Elan stared at the planet in silence. He finally understood why Earth disappeared. Why humans erased themselves from star maps. Why they built those guardian structures. They weren't hiding from the galaxy. They were hiding something inside Earth. Something ancient. Something powerful. Something the galaxy was never meant to see. "Commander," a young officer said softly, fear in her voice. "The deeper we scan, the more dangerous the readings become." R'Elan nodded. He felt it too. A growing threat. A feeling that they were getting too close to the truth. A truth humans wanted buried. He whispered, "We must find out what lies beneath Earth." But deep inside, he wondered if finding out would destroy them all. Commander R'Elan Varys could no longer pretend this was a normal mission. The planet below them, Earth, was alive with strange energy. It whispered warnings. It erased machines. It hid secrets older than the stars. And now, something beneath the crust was waking up. The bridge of the flagship was silent as the crew watched Earth glowing with patterns from deep underground. Lines of light moved across continents like ancient circuits coming to life. They formed shapes no one in the Senate could recognize, except one. A circle. Inside it, a human hand. An old symbol from long-forgotten human writings. As the symbol formed, every ship in the fleet felt a tremor. Not physical, but inside their minds. A presence. A watcher. R'Elan stepped forward slowly. "What is activating under that surface?" His science officer spoke in a trembling voice. "Sir, the energy waves are coming from a deep bunker. Very deep. Almost touching Earth's core." R'Elan frowned. "And what is inside that bunker?" The officer swallowed. "We don't know. But whatever it is responding to us." Another officer shouted from the sensor station. "Commander, we are detecting movement under the crust. Something massive." R'Elan's heart tightened. "Define massive." The officer's voice cracked. "Bigger than a city, sir." The holographic screen switched on, showing an outline rising through Earth's layers. It moved slowly but with purpose, like something ancient stretching after a long sleep. R'Elan whispered, "Impossible." The outline reached the upper crust. The energy spikes grew stronger. The crew stepped back as the screen filled with blinding light. Then the entire fleet heard it. A voice. Not through speakers. Not through radios. Through space itself. Unauthorized presence detected. The voice was deep, calm, and powerful. Much stronger than the earlier human guardian voice. R'Elan froze. This wasn't the same entity. This was something older. Something commanding. The ship shook as the underground structure burst upward. Rocks split. Mountains cracked. Oceans roared. And then it rose above the clouds. A colossal black structure, half ship, half fortress, lifted into the sky. Metal plates folded like the wings of a giant creature. Blue light ran through ancient lines along its hull. The fleet watched in fear as it ascended into space. R'Elan whispered, What is that?" His science officer stared at the readings with disbelief. "It is a human construct, sir, but built with technology far beyond anything in our history records." The massive structure stopped in orbit, facing the Senate fleet like an awakened beast staring down intruders. The deep voice returned. "You were warned. Earth is not open." R'Elan gathered his courage and stepped forward. "This is the Galactic Senate fleet. We are here only to learn." The voice cut him off sharply. "Learning is forbidden in this zone." R'Elan tried again. "We seek peaceful contact. We believe humans." The voice thundered. "Humans are not your concern." A wave of energy hit the fleet. Not destructive, but terrifying. The ship spun slightly from the force. Lights flickered. Every crew member felt the weight of an ancient power pushing against them. R'Elan gripped the edge of the command table. "What are you?" he whispered. The answer came like a storm. "Earth's Guardian. Last sentinel of the Origin program." Origin program? The crew exchanged shocked looks. R'Elan asked, "What was the Origin program?" The Guardian replied, "The first project of humankind. The beginning of our rise. And the beginning of our fall." R'Elan took a shaky breath. Why hide Earth? Why disappear from the galaxy? The Guardian answered slowly, as if remembering a long pain. "Because the galaxy turned against us. Because our power grew too strong. Because peace was no longer possible." The bridge went silent. R'Elan felt a chilling thought form in his mind. Humans didn't vanish. They withdrew. The Guardian continued. "Earth sealed itself. We erased our presence from the stars. We buried the Origin program so no one could use it again." R'Elan stepped forward. "Then why reawaken now?" The Guardian paused. The lights across its colossal hull dimmed, then glowed again, cold and blue. "Because you forced a breach." The fleet suddenly shook. "Commander!" a crew member yelled. "We are being pulled toward Earth." R'Elan turned sharply. Engines full reverse. "It's not working." The Guardian spoke again, lower, darker, dangerous. "You touched the sealed zones. You scanned what was forbidden. You awakened protocols that once protected humanity." The ships drifted closer to Earth, pulled by an invisible force. R'Elan shouted, "Are you going to destroy us?" The Guardian's reply was even colder. "We do not destroy without purpose. But trespass demands consequence." The giant structure shifted, preparing something. Energy gathered at its core. The fleet sensors screamed warnings. R'Elan stood frozen. They had come searching for Earth. They had found something far greater. Something that did not want to be found. The Guardian's final message echoed across space. "Prepare to face judgment." And the sky above Earth darkened as the ancient human construct charged its unknown weapon. The alarms had stopped an hour ago, but the silence felt even more dangerous. Inside the broken alien warship, Captain Raleth kept staring at the floating sphere they had discovered. A sphere that was not listed in any database across the galaxy. It pulsed once. Then again. Like a heartbeat. Raleth felt the vibration in his bones. No one wanted to get close to it. The ship scanners kept glitching every time they tried to analyze the object. Metallic grids warped. Numbers changed. Readings collapsed into static. It was as if the sphere rejected being understood. "Sir," whispered the science officer Sorex, "energy inside the sphere is increasing. Slowly, but constantly." Raleth's throat tightened. Because that ship, this forgotten wreck, had been drifting in dead space for over 1,000 years with no signs of activity. Nothing inside should be waking up now. Nothing. But the real fear began when the voices started. Not voices speaking words. Whispers. Short bursts of sound, like static running through metal veins. Sorex pressed a hand to his temple. "I'm hearing something. Like someone calling from inside the sphere." Raleth froze. Because he heard it too. A faint echo. Almost human. Almost. "Back away," he ordered immediately. "No one touches it. No one approaches it." But the sphere didn't care. The lights in the chamber flickered. The temperature dropped. Frost crystals formed on the walls as if the air itself was afraid. Sorex stepped back and pointed at the readings. "Captain, this is impossible. Energy output is now stronger than our ship's reactor." "How?" Raleth whispered. "It's the size of a helmet." They all knew the truth they didn't want to say aloud. This wasn't a machine. It was a core. And if a core was waking up, then something much bigger was coming alive with it. Then the message appeared. Not projected. Not broadcast. It simply materialized on every screen, written in a language none of them had ever seen. Yet somehow, they understood it. "Do not activate the core. Do not attempt to control it. The human ship is not dead. It is dreaming." Silence swallowed the room. Someone whispered, trembling, "Human?" But humans died out centuries ago. Every record says so. Raleth felt ice in his veins. If that message was true, if a human ship's core was waking up after 1,000 years, if this wasn't debris but a sleeping weapon, then everything the galaxy believed about humans being gone, everything the Council taught about Earth fading into extinction, was a lie. And the core pulsed again. Louder, brighter, faster. Like a heart preparing to rise from a long, dangerous sleep. Raleth stumbled backward. "No one touches it. Shields around the core, now." But the shields flickered and died instantly, as if the sphere had swatted them away. The ship vibrated. Metal groaned. The lights dimmed. A single sentence appeared across every screen, every visor, every datapad. "Human vessel. Rebooting primary systems. Stand clear." Everyone froze. Raleth's voice cracked. "Rebooting? Rebooting what?" But the answer came from the floor itself. Metal plates shifted. The walls trembled. And then, a sound they had never heard before filled the chamber. A deep, rising hum. A ship's awakening breath. A human warship was coming back online. After 1,000 years, they had woken the giant. And now, they had no idea what it would do. The ancient vessel shook again, harder this time. Captain Raleth grabbed a support beam as the floor vibrated like something massive was shifting beneath their feet. The core at the center of the chamber glowed brighter, sending long streams of white-blue light crawling across the metal walls. The lines moved like veins waking up after 1,000 years of silence. "Captain!" Sorex shouted. Energy surge spreading through the entire ship. Raleth didn't need a report. He could feel it. The whole structure, once frozen, dead, and rusted, now pulsed with life. Panels slid open. Hidden conduits awakened. Lights flickered on in distant corridors. It was as if the ship had waited centuries for someone, anyone, to step inside so it could breathe again. A deep metallic groan echoed through the chamber. Raleth turned just in time to see a massive circular plate slowly descending, revealing a dark shaft below. "What now?" he whispered. A platform rose from the shaft. Smooth, black, polished like a mirror. On it rested something long, armored, and dangerous. Sorex gasped. "Is that a weapon?" It wasn't just a weapon. It was a rail cannon, fused with alien alloys, etched with symbols they didn't recognize. The ship wasn't just waking up. It was preparing. Raleth stepped back. Everyone retreat. Slowly. Do not provoke it. But then the ship spoke again. Not through speakers. Not through sound. The words appeared directly inside their helmets, clean and cold. Human warship Talos. Initializing tactical systems. Identify yourselves. Raleth froze. Sorex whispered, Talos. That name appears only once in history. In human archives. Raleth swallowed hard. Go on. It was Earth's final warship. The last one built before humanity went silent. Everyone stiffened. Talos was a legend, a myth of an unstoppable battleship that vanished during the Great Collapse. Most people believed it never existed. But here it was, waking up beneath their feet. The voice repeated, this time louder, sharper, like a commander addressing soldiers. Raleth raised both hands slowly. We are not enemies, he said. We are explorers. The Galactic Union. The room shifted instantly. Bright red symbols flashed across every surface. Union detected. Union equals threat. Union equals hostile force. Sorex grabbed the captain's arm. Sir, it thinks we're enemies. Raleth's mind raced. Why would a human ship recognize the Union as a threat? Unless the stories were true. Stories that the Union once hunted the last humans. Stories that the Union erased entire archives about early Earth history. Stories the Union called myths. Captain, Sorex whispered, fear crawling into his voice. We're standing inside a ship that fought the Union once before. A ship built to destroy fleets. Raleth felt sweat run down his back. If Talos woke up believing the war wasn't over, then it would finish what it started. The ancient engines, silent for centuries, thundered to life. Dust leapt off the floor. Lights blazed in every corridor. The entire vessel trembled as gravity coils reactivated. Raleth stumbled. We have to get off this ship, now. But the exit hatch sealed itself with a loud metallic slam. Every path out closed. Every door locked. Every corridor lit up with red emergency lines. The voice returned. Calmer. Colder. Threat detected on board. Containment protocol active. Unauthorized life forms will be neutralized. Sorex backed into a wall, trembling. It's going to kill us. Raleth stared at the glowing core, which now beat like a raging star. No, he said. It's not killing us yet. Then what is it doing? Sorex asked. Raleth breathed out shakily. It's studying us. It wants to know what happened to the humans. The ship shook again, louder, sharper. Engines roared. Dust fell from the high ceilings. Talos was rising from the grave, and the galaxy had no idea. Talos rose through the ancient cavern like a sleeping god returning to life. Stone broke. Dust exploded upward. The ground trembled as if the planet itself feared what was waking beneath its surface. Captain Raleth and his team clung to whatever they could as the floor tilted sharply. The buried chamber split open, revealing the night sky above them. Dark, cold, endless. Talos, the last human warship, rose into that darkness, engines glowing brighter with every passing second. Inside the ship, alarms echoed like distant thunder. Threat analysis starting. Searching for human signals. Primary question. What happened to Earth? Sorex leaned close to Raleth. Captain, it's looking for humans. Raleth's throat tightened. And it's not finding any. The ship vibrated harder. Panels unfolded along the walls, projecting maps of the galaxy. Thousands of star systems blinking like tiny white sparks. But around one region, around one cluster, everything was dark. Earth's entire sector. A huge black void. No planets. No colonies. No signals. No life. Everything erased. Talos scanned again. And again. And again. The ship's voice turned colder, sharper, almost angry. Human homeworld. Not found. Human colonies. Not found. Human civilization. Eradicated. Sorex whispered, horrified. It thinks humanity is gone. Raleth shook his head. No. Talos knows something worse than that. And then the ship displayed the final image. A massive silhouette. A weapon larger than any fleet. A machine shaped like a ring of moving blades. Raleth's eyes widened. That's Union Protocol Device Omega. It wipes entire star systems. Sorex looked like his heart stopped. Captain, the Senate used that on Earth? Raleth didn't answer. He didn't need to. Talos answered for him. Conclusion. The Union exterminated the human race. The air inside the ship turned heavy, like the walls themselves were filled with fury. Then the temperature dropped. Lights dimmed. Everything inside the warship shifted from blue to blood red. The voice returned. Not loud. Not mechanical. Cold. Controlled. Final. Talos Execution Protocol Online. Mission. Avenge Earth. Priority target. Galactic Union. Sorex panicked. Captain, we have to stop it. If Talos attacks the Union, the whole galaxy will burn. Raleth didn't respond. He was staring at something else. Something Talos projected next. A small blinking dot. A hidden signal. Weak, but alive. A human beacon. Captain, that's impossible, Sorex whispered. That signal is coming from outside the galaxy. Raleth's heart pounded in his chest. They're alive, he whispered. Humans are alive. Somewhere far beyond our borders. Talos reacted instantly. New primary mission. Protect surviving humans. Eliminate all threats to their return. And then the ship's engines roared like a storm. Stars shifted around them as Talos prepared to jump into deep space. Sorex grabbed the captain's arm. What now? Raleth looked at his terrified crew. He looked at the glowing human beacon. He looked at the warship, a vessel built to end civilizations. We hold on, he said, because the humans are coming back. The ship shook violently, charging for its first jump in 1,000 years. And the galaxy is not ready. The screens flared white. Talos vanished into the stars.